Well then, it is nearly time to start that show. But before we start the show, one last thing. I don't like spoilers, as I've said, but I love a good teaser. Just enough to pique one's interest and curiosity, but not enough to really spoil anything. Just enough to wonder, how did this happen? Why did this lead to that? What happens afterwards? What context is that under? So I'm going to be giving us a little bit of, teasers. So, this story has 6 main sections. We're about to finish the prologue. Then there will be the first main part of the story, a little interlude, discussing that first part in more detail. The second major part, an epilogue discussing that second part. Then we'll have a nice big conclusion. Now, let's see. Part 1 is extremely personal to me in very, very specific and important ways. And Part 2, at one point, contains 6 words. There you go, some nice little teasers. And now, let us begin. Let us get on with this show. And we start our show in a place, a casino, the back halls of one. A young man in a black long coat and a mask is carrying an armored suitcase as he runs through the back halls of this casino, when his way is blocked by a guard. The guard, however, transforms into a strange creature, but the young man yells out something, a name, and a strange creature of his own appears. With its help, he takes down that strange monster the guard became, and it dissipates. The young man jumps across chandeliers, over a massive gambling hall to the other side, and leaps out the glass windows there, out into the dark night. He lands safely, acrobatically, on the ground below, and then sirens. Bright lights, flashing red and blue spotlights. The young man is surrounded by dozens, hundreds of police officers, who quickly surround him and knock him out. And as he's losing consciousness, the one that is handcuffing him tells him that one of his group had, reported him. The young man awakens in an interrogation cell and is roughed up by the police officers. He is then given a clipboard with a piece of paper and a pen. He's told the paper is a full confession, and he's supposed to sign it with his name. You have your first decision in this game as far as dialogue, but thou must moment. If you choose no, police just rough you up more, and you're given the choice again. Eventually, you have to say yes and sign your name. And this is how the player names the protagonist of this story. Now, like most silent protagonists, you can pretty much name this fella whatever you want. But again, like many silent protagonists, he has a canon name. In this case, he has several of them. So I'm going to take a combination of 2 of them and use them as his name for this. This young man's name is Ren Caruso. Well, once Ren has signed his, quote, confession, unquote, he is put in the care of a court prosecutor who's there to find out what he did, how he did it, why he did it, and the method by which he had achieved that. Because she is sincerely very curious about how this happened, what led to this, and how it was done. And this is the framing device for the game. These events happen very late in the story, and most of it is framed as Ren telling this lady all about how things had reached that point, what it was that caused things to get there, and so on and so forth. But that is a thing. So, that's where we start. Now, but the real event, the real start of this happened long before, on the night of fate. Young Ren is a high school student, about to start his, the second year in high school, which in Japan is basically the equivalent of about 11th grade. And it's when the real ramp up to the biggest exams happen. So basically, Ren has decided to take the little break between first and second year school seriously, and has been studying hard and long hours at the local library. And on a night after a long day of studying, he's walking home. As he passes an alleyway, he hears something coming from the other side. Sounds of a scuffle, a woman's scream, and a man's drunken yell. Being a good and decent person, Ren decides to intervene. On the other end of that alleyway, he sees a man's back wrestling with a woman. And so he yells out, "Stop it!" The man, startled, stands up, drops the woman on the ground, and turns to face Ren, overbalances and falls flat onto his face in the concrete, injuring his face. And as the footsteps of a police officer approach, the man yells out, "This boy attacked me! Arrest him!" And despite Ren's protestations that he had not even approached the man, let alone hurt him, despite the obviously audible threat of the man to the woman to "better back me up if you know what's good for you," Ren is arrested, tried, and convicted of a crime that not only did he not commit, but never actually even happened. And so, expelled from his high school and put on probation, his life is basically over. Without an education, he'll have no chance of anything even approaching a decent job. Japan has very, very bad opinions of things like homeschooling. He's going to need to actually have a real high school education if he's going to have any chance of a secondary education at all. His family cares about him and try to find someplace, some high school that will take him. But what high school will take someone with a criminal record, regardless of the circumstances? Especially since it's supposedly for a violent attack. But they keep searching, and eventually they finally find one. A tiny little high school in the middle of Tokyo by the name of Shujin High School. It's his only chance to enroll him. However, they are unable to leave their jobs and lives to watch him as he attends. So they contact an old family acquaintance, a man by the name of Sojiro Sakura. Remember that name for later. Who agrees to take in Ren, be his guardian while he attends, and lets him stay in the attic of his cafe, LeBlanc. And so Ren is now in Tokyo, in a new home, a new high school, a new situation, everything. Ren decides that he wants to prove to the world that he's not the violent thug he has been painted as. And so he decides he needs to show the world that he's not that person, by being a good student to start off with. To be a good student, though, he has to get to high school. And the Tokyo subway is not a very easy thing to navigate. Probably one of the most complicated places, in our world. And especially for someone who's never experienced such a thing. So Ren decides to spend the Sunday before his first day at Shujin studying up on the subway system so he can get there on time next morning. And he manages it on his first day, on that Monday. He not only manages it the first time, he's actually pretty damn early, which is very good, very helpful, because the moment he emerges from the underground subway platform, he finds it is raining, pouring, torrential downpour. He's going to be soaked if he tries to get to Shujin in it. He quickly takes cover under an awning. And, well, being early, he thinks, alright, maybe if I wait a couple of minutes, maybe it'll let up a bit, or even stop. So, like anyone who finds themselves somewhere with nothing to do but wait, he decides to entertain himself. So he pulls out his phone, and he sees something interesting on it. There's an app button he doesn't recognize. Looks kind of like an eye. He doesn't remember downloading it. Didn't come with a phone either. And he doesn't recall it being put on for any other reason. As he's looking at it, puzzled over it, two more students in Shujin uniforms emerge from that same subway platform and also take shelter under that same awning. A tall, lanky boy whose spiky hair has been bleached blonde, and a beautiful young lady with brilliant green eyes, and whose naturally curly, naturally blonde hair has been tied back into pigtails. All of which are very, very, very rare things to see in Japan indeed. The boy notices Ren in his uniform and approaches. Huh, you go to Shujin, huh? I don't recognize you. You new? Oh, I'm Ryuji. And the boy holds out his hand for Ren to shake. Ren, stunned, grabs the hand weakly and shakes it just as weakly. When a car pulls up beside the side of the road, and a middle-aged man in a tracksuit leans his head out and yells, "Hey, Takamaki, need a ride?" The beautiful young lady starts, nods, and gets into the car. Ryuji is pissed and yells at the man, "You've got plenty of room in that thing for 2 more students." But the man just laughs and drives away. Ryuji sighs. If he's on his way, that means it's almost time. We need to hurry if we're going to beat the bell. Come on, I know a shortcut. If we go through this alleyway over here, we'll only have to be out in the rain for a bit. If we really sprint, we shouldn't be soaked. Come on. And as Ryuji leads Ren to that alleyway, Ren accidentally bumps that now-forgotten app. Metaverse navigation application open. Please input keywords. As the two boys walk through that little alleyway, Ryuji informs Ren about that guy. Yeah, that's Suguru Kamashita. He's a PE teacher and volleyball coach at Shujin High School. And he's a real pervert. Treats the school like his own damn castle. Keyword input confirmed. Searching for palace. Palace found. Beginning navigation. And as the two boys approach the other side and emerge from the end of the alleyway, they turn towards Shujin High School to see not Shujin High School. Not a high school at all, but a medieval European-style castle. Ryuji is confused. I don't think there's a castle in Tokyo. I think we took a wrong turn either. Oh, that sign says it's Shujin. I don't know, maybe there's some kind of weird festival today. Come on, we better get going. And so the two boys enter through the massive double doors to find inside not Shujin High School. Not a high school at all. Definitely a castle. A castle being patrolled by strange armored guards, who quickly discover that they have intruders. Surround those intruders and knock the boys out.